I can't sit there and hear the sirens go off and me not be able to do something.
You just have to be ready to run.
You know, you have someone's life in your hands.
We have to protect our communities, because if we don't, who will?
For those of you that have trouble chewing bubble gum and walking at the same time, this is going to take some work.
I thought that I was just joining to be like the note taker.
On your mark, get set, go.
Then I get there and they're like, oh, no, you're the people doing it. Oh my God, like, that's me?
Volunteer fire departments are the core of the community.
We do anything. They'll call the fire department for anything.
There's a lot of towns that don't have fire department for 40 miles. Matter of minutes is life and death. I mean, matter of seconds.
I woke up to my room completely filled with smoke. It's hard to imagine that a home was here.
I don't care how tired you are. This is what we're called to do. Help people, find them, save them.
We went through hell together.
You see the ugliness of people, you see the beautifulness of people.
There's only so many of us. How do you keep a town alive?
He handed me a piece of paper and he said, fill this out. We have a meeting Wednesday night. My husband said, where have you been? I said, I think I joined the fire department.
Coming to a firehouse near you.
COVID was challenging for everybody, but even more so for frontline healthcare workers and first responders.
Everyone around us, all of the entities that we rely on to give us information, in this case, the CDC, the World Health Organization, to tell us about this particular germ and how best to protect ourselves and how best to respond to it, they didn't know. They were figuring it out. And we were having to make decisions about the same issues when they couldn't even give us the proper guidance or factual scientific information, because they were learning it at the same time.
Well, when COVID started, the city was empty, and whatever runs we went on, I mean, it was sad. These people were drowning from the disease.
I distinctly remember being called a Nazi and being berated for wearing a mask on a medical call outside of a restaurant.
I think COVID was a time like nothing before in my 30 years. And it was uncertain, it was scary, unpredictable. Yeah, definitely left a little bit of a mark.
Whoever thought in our career after 9/11, COVID was going to turn into the next catastrophe?
One day somebody has COVID, and then it felt like the next day, like the whole city shutting down.
I got a call from a firefighter. He said, Frank, I'd spent 25 years on a department, and I think my son, who is an EMT, saw more dead bodies today than I did in my whole career.
COVID didn't cause a lot of the breaks in our systems, but it exploited weaknesses that we already had.
COVID showed us how resilient we can be in the face of tragedy, in the face of chaos, in the face of uncertainty.
COVID will be the new identifier for members of the department. This will be the thing that they look back on and say, we made it through that.
COVID, Coast to Coast, the story of how 3 departments dealt with the COVID pandemic. Produced by the National Fallen Firefighters Foundation. Directed by Rob Maloney.
the Firefighter Air Coalition FDIC Scholarship. Enter before the end of the general session to win a full scholarship to FDIC International 2026. With 20 hours of hot evolutions, world-class instructors, and the latest in fire technology, you don't want to miss this opportunity. Enter for your chance to win at aircoalition.org/scholarship-2026 and fill out the scholarship application, as well as follow us on Facebook. Firefighter Air Coalition. More air, more time.
The health and safety of firefighters is the IAFF's top priority. The fight for safety spans across all areas of our profession. But if we aren't safe on the job and our health prevents us from doing our jobs, then nothing else really matters. It's literally life and death. Sadly, we know that cancer is the leading cause of death among our firefighters. In recent years, over 2/3 of the names put on the wall at our fallen firefighter memorial in Colorado Springs are line of duty deaths from job-related cancers. We must reduce this risk and do everything we can to extinguish cancer from the fire service. We know firefighters are exposed to carcinogens and toxins in their daily responses. This fight of ours has taken us from the boardroom to the courtroom, from the White House and the halls of Congress to state houses and city halls, in Canada's House of Parliament. We need your help to raise our voices. We can't stop. We won't stop. We owe it to ourselves and to future generations of firefighters to keep up the fight. You can't do it till you say it. Let's extinguish cancer in the fire service together. Stay safe and God bless, and be you, be strong, be firefighters.
Welcome to Fire Engineering's Training Minutes. I'm Eric Wheaton, and today we're going to discuss the proper placement of a water can during fire attack and also the fuel load that the water can extinguish.
Today we're talking about getting a seriously injured firefighter out of their bunker gear.
Today we're going to focus on the sense of smell and the sense of vision.
Today we're going to be talking about rescue task force and elements of fire and EMS response to active shooter.
So we've started the cans at the same time. Again, the can on the right is in the proper position. The can on the left is already starting to peter out. You can see that the fire on the left is definitely not getting put out as much as the fire on the right.
For this scenario, we're going to use more modern furnishings. We're actually going to show you a couch that's on fire and the effectiveness of the can on the couch.
Quick hit of the base of the fire. See the temperature's already getting down below 1,000 degrees. This is a well-involved couch fire, obviously.
Here's one example of a formation that law enforcement and fire can do entering a facility. This is a long, narrow hallway. We have 3 law enforcement officers up front. Their body armor, as well as their weapon system, is used to protect EMS and fire in this environment. There is a rear guard in the back who's also a law enforcement officer with a long gun to protect any threats that might come from the rear.
We can open up the coat and look for our points to make our best cuts. We can even tear it open. And as you can see here, cutting through the harness is not so easy. The drag recovery device is a great tool for us to be able to rescue our firefighters, but it's another layer of material that we have to cut. Likewise, the harness we wear in our pants is also difficult.
Now, as the firefighter starts to come through a narrow entrance, he's going to find himself challenged to be able to crawl and not get caught up on anything and breathe at the same time. He decreases his profile by laying to one side. It still keeps his diaphragm to be able to expand completely. During the next obstacle, he's got a decision to make.
We are not advocating not grabbing a hose line. A hose line still has its place. We still need to grab a hose line whenever possible. But if we find ourselves in circumstances when a hose line is not available, the water can is definitely a viable option. Just now we saw over 1,000-degree temperature change just with the water can.
Anything you can do to make a better cut, practice is going to be needed. And anytime you can get some old bunker gear and try this at your firehouse, if nothing else, have several people try it so you can see what you need to do when the time comes. Hopefully never, but if it does, you can be prepared.
Today, we demonstrated one of the many different ways in which an RTF can enter a warm zone with force protection, access a victim, and remove them to safety.
It's not just doing tactics and techniques, it's the ability to be able to increase the degree of those tactics and techniques, but also to tax the senses. And as an instructor, that's important because what you're working on is resiliency. Resiliency comes by the comfort that you have, the ability to be able to stretch yourself and be confident and comfortable in what it is that you're doing. If you don't incorporate the senses, you're not making it realistic. If you're not making it realistic, you're wasting your time, you're wasting the fireman's time.
Be sure to visit FDIC International's 2025 Lucas Oil Stadium Experience. Get ready for an unparalleled event as we take our mission to train to new heights. Beyond the conference program, we've curated an extraordinary experience throughout Lucas Oil Stadium, designed to enhance skills and equip attendees for the future. Join us in the drill yard for immersive tactical training and simulations designed specifically for first responders. Master essential techniques in vehicle stabilization, extrication, bailout, forcible entry, and much more. Explore the journey thus far and the path forward at the Next Gen Fire Tech. Step into our drone zone or experience the cutting-edge connected solutions and XR simulations to witness the latest advancements in technology currently available on the market. Immerse yourself in dynamic discussions and gain invaluable insights into mental health, prevention, nutrition, and much more at our health and wellness space. At the GYMS Experience, come out to cheer on the teams participating in the GYMS Clinical Competition, a challenging and educational clinical competition highlighting cutting-edge simulation technology. Memorial Park is the perfect place to connect and unwind. Enjoy fun games, the cheerful barks of playful puppies, and tasty concessions that will make your visit even more memorable. Discover a space that celebrates connection and camaraderie at Tribute Square. Engage in meetups with like-minded professionals while enjoying concessions and building community. Each of these areas provides an opportunity for hands-on training and product demonstrations. Participants can earn CE credit certificates and get access to exclusive FDIC merchandise. It all culminates here. We can't wait to see you there.
We lost 343 on 9/11, but we've lost over 326 since. By the anniversary this year, the number will have surpassed those who died on that day. It's time to climb in remembrance with 2,200 steps and 110 floors. Climb to honor those that we have lost, but also climb for yourself because you are carrying on the legacy. You are still here doing the work. This is about overcoming obstacles, it's about managing adversity, and it's about hope. Hope for this generation. Your legs will burn. It'll be tough. But as I said the other day, those are the key ingredients to character. God bless those who have gone before us.
I know how much it meant to you.
God bless the fire service.
I was like, oh God.
And God bless this great country.
Take your fire department to the next level with fire engineering training. With our platform, you can train on your schedule using our mobile app and track your hands-on training in the field or at your desk. Be ISO audit ready with our ISO training templates and dashboard. Track all licenses and credentials. Leverage the highest rated course library in the industry. Store all your training materials in one place. Use these to build custom courses and develop everything from a seamless onboard process to department-specific training.
Good morning, everyone. Please take your seats. Our program is about to begin. As a courtesy to your speakers and to your fellow attendees, please silence all electronic devices. Thank you.
You can fancy yourself an expert, or you can fancy yourself a king. A rich and smooth blend of golden grain and single malt, aged 4 years in bourbon barrels. Anything else just wouldn't be proper. Proper number 12 Irish whiskey.
Please rise for the presentation of colors. Please remain standing for America the Beautiful, sung by Emma Copes.
Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for heroes proved in liberating strife, who more than self their country loved, and mercy more than life. America, America, God shed his grace on thee,
breaks the drums. By the right, quick march.
Please welcome to the stage Chief David Rhodes.
If that doesn't get the hair standing up on the back of your neck, nothing does. Thank you, Emma. That was absolutely beautiful. Thanks to the pipes. You guys have a seat. I think the bagpipes might be my favorite part of FDIC. I got to march with them a little bit last night. It was absolutely incredible. All right, let's get it rolling. Kevin D. Quinn is a 48-year veteran in the fire service. He retired as a deputy chief of the Union Fire District in South Kingston, Rhode Island. Currently serving the National Volunteer Fire Council as the immediate past chairman. Kevin continues to serve as a board member of the National Fallen Firefighters Foundation, National Volunteer Fire Council, Board of Directors, and the Home Fire Sprinkler Coalition. He recently finished his second term on the National Fire Academy Board of Visitors and spent 10 years on the ICC Fire Code Action Committee. Chief Quinn has served the National Volunteer Fire Council Board of Directors for 45 years as the director of Rhode Island. He holds a Master of Science in Counseling and Educational Psychology and a Master of Science in Education. Kevin continues to serve his community, volunteering with the Union Fire District. Everyone I spoke to about Kevin told me that guy loves people and the fire service, and his attitude is contagious. Kevin puts service first and is a legendary example of what it means to serve your community, your organizations, and your family. Please give a warm welcome to Kevin Quinn.
Chief. Well, before I begin, I want to set the stage, and this is the stage for 30-something years with FDIC and some of the pioneers and the legends like Captain Bill Guston and the nice guy, Alan Brunacini, and my friend Bobby Halton. It just honors me to be here today. About 6 weeks ago in Washington, D.C., I said to Ed Kelly, the IAFF General President, that our work has just begun. And we are fortunate to have leadership such as Ed Kelly and Steve Hirsch with the chairman of the MVFC to be able to take those nearly 400,000 career firefighters and those 687,000 volunteer firefighters and work in concert to make our business better, our profession better. So I thank Ed for the work we've done together, and I look forward to the future in working together so that we can make a difference. We've had some turmoil lately in Washington, D.C., and closing down or pausing the National Fire Academy and AFG grants and SAFER grants, which are critical and essential for all of us. And we're working together to try to make a difference and to be able to open that up again. And I know in time we have our challenges, but we will make that happen. I would like to try to identify in this room, in the audience, two people. I want to find the person with the most years of service. So if you have more than 40 years of service, please stand up. More than 40. All right, more than 45. If you're more than 45, if you're all over 45, stay standing. Otherwise, sit. Anybody over 50 years? All right, it's hard for me to see, but raise your hand if you're standing up and you're over 50. All right, 55 years. Anybody up more than 55 years? Are you standing? Are you standing? Is there anyone else way back? All right, 58 years. I got this gentleman right here. Is there anyone else standing? Are you the winner? How many years, sir? 62 years. I want you to make your way up here and don't trip on the stairs. Billy, you might want to help him out. All right, the other end. The least senior individual in the fire service. Anybody less than 1 year in here? Stand. Are you it? All right. I can't see, but how about less than 6 months? Stay standing. Ooh. Less than 3 months? Stay standing. Less than 1 month? All right, am I only looking here? All right, how about 7 days? Are you it? Are you the winner? Make your way up these stairs and be careful. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
I want to present, what's your name?
Bob Andrew.
Bob Andrews?
Andrew.
62 plus years. Congratulations for your service. Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
And we appreciate all you do.
Thank you.
Stay here a moment. And what's your name?
Corbin Lewis.
Corbin? Corbin. How many days?
It's a week, my first week.
All right, congratulations, and thank you for being here. Appreciate that. Hold on 1 second, I got a card for you. If I can do anything for you, you reach out to me, okay?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Amen.
Great job.
Thank you.
All right. It is a privilege to stand before you today, addressing the dedicated men and women who understand that our work is never fully finished. Ongoing training, education, and the power of networking, all of which are at the heart of the Fire Department Instructors Conference, FDIC. They're essential to building a stronger, more resilient fire service. Whether you serve as a volunteer or a career emergency responder, whether you are an instructor or a student, we are all bound by a shared mission, a calling to safeguard lives, protect property, and to serve our communities. This mission depends on courage, sacrifice, and an unwavering commitment to others. Our work is never done. In fact, it is only just begun. Think of the changing technologies and the training requirements that we've seen develop. We honor a true sense of purpose and meaning in everything we do in the fire and emergency services. I am truly humbled and honored to stand before you this morning. My name is Kevin Quinn, and I've had the distinct privilege of serving the Union Fire District of South Kingstown, Rhode Island, for 49 years. I am proud to be an American and just as proud to serve as a volunteer firefighter. Welcome to the greatest show on earth, FDIC. When David Rhodes asked me to open today's session, I felt the weight of this moment. FDIC is the premier fire conference, at least in the Americas. That said, my experience at Interschutz in Germany was truly remarkable. And if you ever get the chance to attend, I highly recommend you take advantage of that opportunity. I have been blessed to represent the National Volunteer Fire Council, NVFC, across our country and across the world. And if there is one thing I can affirm, though each of you already knows this, even my 7-day guy, Corbin, it's that there is nothing like the brotherhood and sisterhood of the fire service. The friendships and bonds we form in this profession transcend borders, and they last a lifetime. When I filled out that volunteer firefighter application back in 1976, I had no idea of the rewards, experiences, and knowing what it would bring me. I am forever grateful for this journey and the opportunity to stand before you today. My message today is to assure that each and every one of you has that sizzle factor. You're in the fire service. You need a sizzle factor, that drive, the passion, and the genuine love of the job. In addition to your sizzle factor, you also need to encompass the juggle factor as well. Being able to factor in all of life's balances, family, faith, the fire family, and functioning of life. As a retired school teacher, I have a love of lifelong learning. I have been fortunate to be able to have a dual career. 49 years in the fire service, and I retired in 2016 with 31 years in the school department. Being here at FDIC is acknowledgement of your continuing training and education. Thank you for being here. Although we all share the same mission, the majority of the fire service in this country relies on volunteers. More than 65% of the United States firefighters are volunteers. Dedicated men and women who answer emergency calls in the dead of the night before heading out to their day job. One that leaves their families at a moment's notice and who train tirelessly, not for a paycheck, but because they believe in protecting their communities. Protecting their communities in ways that others may not fully understand. Their service saves communities an estimated $46.9 billion annually, B as in billion. Regardless of whether you are serving as a career firefighter or a volunteer firefighter, we all understand the immense demands of the profession. It takes a toll on individuals. Today, it also takes a toll on families. And it is a family affair, especially in the volunteer ranks. Today's fire service faces unprecedented challenges. Increased call volumes, advancing technologies, expanded training requirements, financial constraints, and growing stress on our members. It's a commitment like no other. Recruitment and retention remain ongoing struggles, and to address them, we must rethink our approach. We have a duty and an obligation to protect our communities. We are sworn to protect our communities, which means adapting to new models of engagement. In my district, the Union Fire District, we recently introduced the Firefighter 1, 2, and EMT classes in our local high school, allowing junior firefighters to earn course credit while training in our craft. After their graduation, they will have the opportunity to complete their job performance requirements, their JPRs, preparing them for their future in the fire service. Many of today's young people seek hands-on learning experiences and opportunities, and this initiative meets that need while strengthening our volunteer ranks. Additionally, our district has implemented structured duty shifts for volunteers, ensuring 24/7 coverage 365 days a year. Across our 8 volunteer fire stations, we maintain a minimum of 6 firefighters on duty, ready to respond on the first tone. What I like best about that is it brings our 8 stations together, and we cross-train, and if Station 3 is duty on Monday, they come from all the other stations, so they're all together. It's great for our morale. Adapting our mindset and operations is critical to safeguarding our communities. We must change the model. Firefighters face serious health risks: cancer, injuries, mental health struggles, heart disease, and even death. These dangers do not differentiate between career and volunteer firefighters. No matter our path into the fire, we stand together in this mission. We are stronger together. Organizations like the National Volunteer Fire Council play a critical role in supporting volunteer firefighters and their departments. The MVFC leads efforts to recruit and retain members, secure funding opportunities, provide vital physical and mental health resources, and other essential training on critical topics, all while ensuring that the volunteer firefighters' voices are heard at the national level. With a membership of over 37,000 across the United States, the MVFC has been on the forefront of strengthening the volunteer fire service. A decade ago, it launched its first recruitment and retention campaign, MakeMeAFirefighter.org. And let me put a plug in. If you're not a member of the MVFC, for $24 a year, that's like 2 or 3 lattes, you could join, and the benefits are just incredible. And you could go to nvfc.org. So remember that. To help departments bring in and keep dedicated volunteers, the Make Me a Firefighter program has done well in the past 10 years. The MVFC also provides life-saving tools and resources to mitigate firefighter cancer, like the Lavender Ribbon Report, started and written with the cooperation of VCOS and the MVFC, and Jim Seavey, may he rest in peace, and Brian McQueen out of New York, what I call my cancer dudes, put that together along with VCOS, and it's a great, great tool when it comes to prevention and of exposures to cancer. Reducing injuries and fatalities and supporting the mental well-being of those who selflessly serve their communities. Through specialized training and education, the MVFC equips departments with critical skills in leadership, junior firefighter programs, hazardous materials, and others, helping those with limited funding and resources to succeed. As a strong advocate for volunteer firefighters, the MVFC represents their interests on Capitol Hill. In fact, I'll be there on Monday. During the development of NFPA and ICC standards, pushing for essential funding, like programs like AFG and SAFER and the National Fire Academy, and other initiatives that enhance firefighter safety and community preparedness. In 2024 alone, the MVFC and its partners, and we thank those sponsors, awarded over $2 million in grants, giveaways, and scholarships, providing much-needed financial need and relief to departments who strive to protect their communities safely and effectively. The fire service is rooted in tradition, but it thrives on adaptation. As the challenges we face evolve, we must change. At the core of it all is service. Service that gives us purpose. To ensure we continue to rise to these challenges while staying true to that purpose, I ask two things of you today. One, be a leader. Leadership isn't about rank, the color of your helmet, the patch you wear on your sleeve, or the insignia that's on your uniform. It's about integrity, leading by example. The newest firefighter, 7-day Corbin, can lead by training hard, Corbin, showing up when needed, and lifting up those around you. Your critical line officers, of which there's so many here at this conference, you're all instructors. You have an obligation to look into succession planning and prepare those emerging potential leaders that will take your place. Prepare them for success, not failure. The second item is leadership is action, not position. Embrace change, one step at a time. Change doesn't happen overnight, but progress starts with a single decision. Find one thing you could do today to make yourself or your department safer, stronger, or better prepared. Take a class, as you're doing this week. Schedule that annual physical or cancer screening. Sign up with the National Firefighter Cancer Registry when it opens up again, soon, I hope. Share something new you've learned with your crew. Small steps lead to big transformation over time. Be the difference maker. Whether we came into this profession through family tradition, a childhood dream, or an unexpected calling, there is no greater reward than making a difference in someone's worst moments. Be loyal to your core. We are at a pivotal moment in the fire service. You need to step up your game. When the National Fire Registry does open again, you need to, if you have not already, register. It's confidential. In 2+ years, we've only had 21 or 22,000 people register for the Cancer Registry. I'm putting a shout out to all of you. There's 30,000 that come to FDIC or more. We need to bump that number up. The goal was to have 200,000 by now, and we're at 21,000. I'm calling you, when the registry opens up again, please go and register on the Cancer Registry for firefighters. We must actively shape what we do. We must be relentless in our retention efforts. We must be intentional in our recruitment strategies. We must be unwavering in our commitment to leadership. And we must never, ever, ever forget that every one of those 1,440 minutes in a day is an opportunity to be better, to do better, and to leave a legacy that will outlast us all, like my fellow brothers that are on this stage. Brothers and sisters, our work is not done. In fact, it has only just begun. Let's get to it. Thank you for all you do. Remain safe and take care of one another. Thank you very much.
If you've been in fires a lot, no matter how experienced you are, you got to have somebody on your shoulder telling you that, they're backing you, because you don't know. There are times when you say, hey, God, just get me through this. I'll be a good boy, and I'll go to church on Sunday. I'm going to take care of everything. Get me through this.
The battleground. It's very important to know the enemy is fire and how the enemy spreads, convection, conduction, and radiation. And you got to know your battlefield. You're going to do battle on the fire ground, so you got to know the battlefield.
The best thing could happen to all of my people would they run into all of you. The whole secret of this business, I think, is to know your job as intimately and as interconnected as you possibly can.
The premier position that the workers in this room have put this service in is that we are the most popular service, we're the most accepted service, and we're the most trusted service. Now, the worst thing that can happen to us is that we get complacent and we don't keep agitating each other, and we don't keep asking the kinds of questions that we are asking here.
To be able to work at an occupation which brings tremendous personal satisfaction, and to enjoy the association with the marvelous people we have been privileged to work with, makes firefighting enviable to those sentenced to much more mundane walks of life.
Somewhere in this room, there is someone that will be up here on this stage accepting this award in the future, because this is the group that is the leadership of the fire service.
I think, like most people that have these things happen to them, they realize they really stand on the shoulders of people who have gone before them, people who have stand next to them, and people they admire.
I would never have thought that my efforts to be a good firefighter, fire chief, and most of all, a good steward of the National Fallen Firefighters Foundation would have ever brought me to this point in my life. But it has, and for that too, I am deeply grateful to everyone who's helped me make it possible.
To the FDIC fire engineering family, and to my beloved friend, the late Steve Alk. As a team, there was nothing we could not accomplish in making this the greatest fire service conference in the world.
It will be all of you, the true leaders of the fire service, that keep the torch of tradition burning intensely, that will steer us through these turbulent waters and allow us to emerge an even stronger and more resilient fire service.
You're the best and the brightest the fire service has to offer. And I would encourage you to attend as many classes as you can. Take the knowledge you gain, bring it back and share it with your team, and above all, be all that you can be. Thank you, stay safe, God bless, and buckle up.
This award, it's a testament to a pursuit, a calling, a sharing of knowledge. We understood the phenomena of smoke movement through the stack effect, but we didn't associate that with fire behavior and the fact that if you were in a position of smoke and fire travel, you were in the barrel of a shotgun.
Mentor, train, share with everybody, make a difference. Love this job, and to anyone that doesn't, to anyone that disrespects it, show them the door.
This is a real privilege to do what we do, and it's a joy. I notice today sometimes when we get into the tactical discussions that it gets pretty bitter and nasty amongst some people. I think Bobby mentioned it this morning. Keep arguing, keep talking, but don't take it personal.
I'll never forget the sense of pride and thrill and exuberance that I feel when I see my name in fire engineering that has been published for well over 100 years. To all of you, thank you very much, and may God bless us and keep us all safe in our most noble of professions.
I'm not sure if I've met you yet, but you are out there. You might be Sam, you might be Samantha. I don't know who you are, but you are my replacement. You are the brother or sister that is stepping up to start carrying the torch.
Whether you're on the job for 1 year or 30 years, we all have something to learn, and we all have something to teach. Training is the most important activity for every firefighter, every company officer, and every chief. Our training defines us and has a direct impact on the level of service that we all provide to the people that depend on us.
And as much as you loved him, he truly loved all of you. So, here's to you, Bobby. Congratulations, you were worth it.
Every time that I come to FDIC, it really recharges my batteries and invigorates me, and I hope it does for you too. I hope all of you have a great conference, learn as much as you can, and take it all home, and listen to Benny Crane. Be a student of the game until the day you die. God bless you, and thank you.
Please welcome the daughter of Chief Tom Brennan, Ms. Eileen Brennan, accompanied by Chief David Rhodes.
Good morning.
It is an honor to be here with you all, members of the greatest profession in the world. I want to share a little with you about a man who lived and breathed the fire service, my father, Tom Brennan. After high school, my dad enlisted in the Navy, serving his time on a submarine. Unsure of his next steps, his father sent him an application for the FDMY exam. My father didn't know much about the job, nor did he know his father was the most highly decorated firefighter in FDMY history at that time. So he ripped it up. Luckily, his mother knew him so well, and at his next port, she sent him another application. This time, she included the $5 application fee. So he filled it out and sent that one in. Days after returning from the Navy, he took the test. And in 1962, he followed 2 generations before him, officially becoming a firefighter. Though a 3rd-generation FDNY member, he had never set foot in a firehouse before that day. He had no idea of his father's legacy or that his grandfather had died in the line of duty, burned to death along with his entire engine company in a Brooklyn Union gas fire. 6 members of Engine 251 were lost that day. It was FDNY's greatest loss at the time. But once my father stepped foot in that firehouse, he never looked back. For over 20 years, through the war years, as the FDNY called them, he responded to more than 30,000 calls. He was a longtime volunteer on Long Island, and he earned his bachelor's degree in fire science from John Jay College of Criminal Justice, graduating with honors near the top of his class. He retired as captain at one of FDNY's busiest companies, Ladder 111. But his true work had only just begun. Determined to help firefighters make the best possible decisions in the face of fire, he became one of the most important fire service educators of his generation. His expertise in forcible entry techniques and truck company operations became a gold standard. He fought for better regulations, and he testified across the nation. That mission took him to President Bush, to Congress, to leaders of the FBI, DEA, and branches of the US Armed Forces. His message was clear, and his impact was immeasurable. As editor-in-chief of Fire Engineering, he saw an opportunity, not just to write about the job, but to help shape it. He once said, "This is the chance to talk with, not to, the brotherhood and sisterhood of the fire service." And that's exactly what he did. For 17 years, firefighters across the country would pick up Fire Engineering and quickly flip to that back page and read his Random Thoughts column, because they knew he would tell it like it is. But what really made my dad truly remarkable wasn't just his knowledge or experience, it was his heart. He traveled the country teaching firefighters, often for barely more than the cost of a plane ticket. When we asked him why, his answer was simple: how can you put a price on teaching firefighters how to come home safe at the end of every shift? What would be an acceptable price to ask? And in the silence that followed, he simply said, exactly. He'd sit down for a meal, and he would talk with anyone who wanted to talk or had an idea, telling us the best parts were the conversations he had after, spending time just shooting the breeze with the local firefighters. His writings, national training presentations, and work in contributing to the development of the National Firefighter Fire Academy curriculum all came from his drive to make the fire service safer. He went on to serve as Fire Chief of Waterbury, Connecticut, continuing his mission to improve training, safety, and accountability within the fire service. And even when cancer knocked on his door, he never wavered. He continued to write, attend conferences, and advocate for the profession he had dedicated his life to. In 1990, he won the Distinguished Alumni Award from John Jay College. He was the co-editor of the Fire Chief's Handbook, 5th edition. And in 1998, he received the Lifetime Achievement Award. This very award we're giving out today. But more than anything, he was brilliant. He was funny, and he could tell a story like no one else could. He was a firefighter's firefighter, and he loved this profession to its core. When I was asked, what would it have meant to him to have the Lifetime Achievement Award carry his name? My only response was, well, everything. To the past recipients, to today's honoree, and to the innovators in this room who will one day stand here, we congratulate you. The Brennan family thanks you. My dad would thank you. The fire service is better because of you.
Awesome. I can say I was lucky enough to know the man, get to ride in the car with him, and learned a lot of lessons. It's phenomenal. I'm definitely one of the ones that stands on his shoulders for sure. All right, the fire service is built on leadership, innovation, and unwavering commitment to protecting others. Qualities that define Robert Morris Sr. We all know him as Bob, the esteemed recipient of the FDIC 2025 Tom Brennan Lifetime Achievement Award. With a distinguished career spanning over 5 decades, including 40 years with the FDNY, his current role as chief of the Stamford, Connecticut Fire Department, Morris has been a guiding force in fireground operations, technical rescue, and firefighter training. Colleagues describe him as a firefighter's firefighter, a visionary leader, and a mentor whose impact is felt across generations. Whether rebuilding FDNY Rescue 1 after 9/11, developing pioneering forcible entry techniques and tools, or instituting groundbreaking operational improvements in Stamford, his contributions have shaped modern firefighting. Known for his humility, quiet confidence, and dedication to excellence, he has influenced countless firefighters, not just through instruction, but through the example he sets every day. From Harlem's war years to the highest levels of command, Chief Morris has exemplified what it means to lead with knowledge, courage, and integrity. As a very young member of the FDIC hands-on training team, I met Bob when he was running the forcible entry class with Carney, Charlie Smith, and the gang. He had sent me a list of bolts, screws, and locks that he needed, and back then, we were begging, borrowing, and acquiring things from local fire departments and ordering off the local fire department's accounts. Our team didn't know where or how to get half the stuff he asked for, so we did the best we could, but it wasn't the right stuff and it wouldn't work. I took Matt Stewart out to their site at lunch so we could talk to them and see for ourselves exactly what they were doing, and maybe we could get it fixed for the following year. We walked into the structure, introduced ourselves, and we got the cold shoulder from just about everybody except for Bob. He set his sandwich down, got up, and personally took us to each teaching station and did a demo explaining why they needed this particular lock or this particular spec screw. We got it right the following year. I have an immense level of respect and developed a long-time friendship since that moment. That's Bob. This award is not just recognition of achievements, but a tribute to a lifetime devoted to service, innovation, and the brotherhood of the fire service. Please welcome Bob Morris to the stage.
Thanks for that. It's amazing, and you know, I'm not. I don't need a teleprompter, believe me. It's not the way I operate. But I'm going to say a couple things. I looked at the list of the previous award winners, going way back, right to the beginning. The first one was Frank Brannigan, who I had. In fact, I knew a lot of the people who actually have gotten this award over the years. I worked with quite a few of them. So Frank Brannigan is on there. Tom Brennan is on there. I have a few things to say about Tom Brennan. And Vincent Dunn, the first three. And you know, I knew all three of them. So let's get to Tom Brennan. All right, Tom Brennan. So I started the FDNY in 1973. I worked in, you know, some of the busiest companies in the city. It was amazing. It's exactly what I wanted to do. It's what I felt so lucky and blessed to have a job like that. And I worked in a house where the guys were, you know, it was one of the busiest companies in the city. But it was a house where knowledge and study, not only doing the job, but actually learning the job, the basics of the job were very important. And one of the first things the guy said to me, I'm a probie, you know, he's first year a probie, then you're a Johnny, right? You're not a probie no more, but you're still learning, so you're Johnny, and then you become a fireman. Okay, it takes you a little bit. So I'm a probie now, and they go to me. He says, "You want to get in the study group?" I go, "Sure." What's it entail? Just give me $5. Okay, so then they bought books, and everybody's studying for lieutenant, including me, because if you want to learn the job, you really have to get in. You have to get into the job. You have to start studying. So these guys that I came on with, and the senior guys, all were students. Many of them did very, very well throughout their careers, including up into the highest ranks of the fire department. But I learned right away, yeah, first you really gotta, you know, you're on the job, then you gotta learn about the job, and then you gotta know the job, and then you can teach the job, okay? So I took that same thing. I always wanted to really get it down right. Believe me, I don't like making mistakes at all. And I was 20 years before. I was 20 years on the FDNY before I really started teaching that much. That's why, you know, the 50 years that I have, well, it wasn't all teaching, because I really had to know the job. So rolling forward, I remember Tom Brennan, her beloved father over here, and his style fit me to a T. And the first time I met him, I'm not a probie, I'm not a Johnny anymore, I'm a fireman, okay? And I'm in a rescue company. You know, I'm in a rescue company, I'll leave it at that, okay? We come back from a fire, and we stop at a firehouse. And this is a very, very good truck in Harlem, 40 truck. And Tom Brennan was the newly appointed captain there. He ended up going back to his beloved Brooklyn, of course. But I remember going upstairs. After the fire, we stopped back for something that was routine. I don't know what it was. Maybe they stole one of our tools or something. We were trying to retrieve it. I can't remember. Probably. Yeah. So I go up into where everybody's hanging out, and I see this captain sitting amongst his people, his guys. Okay, and first of all, he's larger than life. He's himself. He's there, and he's holding court. And they're going over the fire, just like a good captain is supposed to do. And we talk about that now, but that is what you're supposed to do. okay? You go over the operation, okay? So I just said hello, goodbye, and took up. I ran into, now I get promoted a little bit after that, and I'm covering around, and I'm working in Brooklyn. I see Chief Cassano sitting over there, so he knows about Brooklyn for sure. He was the commissioner as well. Anyway, I go into this truck company, 111 truck, and I relieve Tom Brennan. So, you know, just like you come in, you come in early, he goes over the riding list with you. This is your chauffeur, he's a regular chauffeur. These are the guys who'll have the irons, who'll have the can, who's going to be in the bucket as the OV, and who's going to have the roof. Just same old stuff. He says, by the way, it's a night tour. He says, by the way, you might get a visit from a deputy chief. And I go like, yeah, how come? He goes, well, this was right after Medal Day. He says, apparently at Medal Day, some of the boys acted up a little bit, and there was a little bit of a problem with one of the deputy chiefs at this particular Medal Day after party. And he says, I think you're going to get a visit from the chief tonight, so just be aware. So there's another encounter with Tom Brennan. And I attended he used to do these seminars. They'd rent a hall or something, and he would do a seminar, and I always went to him. And I liked his style. From the first day I met him as a fireman in 40 truck, I liked his style when I became an officer, and I liked the way he taught. It fit the way I like to do things. And his forcible entry stuff, listen, who is not interested in forcible entry? Everybody likes forcible entry. It's like, you know, it's like one of them things, everybody, who doesn't like it? Everybody knows something about it. Everybody's had a problem trying to force a door at one point or another. Sometimes it's pretty darn embarrassing. And everybody, you know, wants to know more about it. So all his stuff on forcible entry was very interesting to me, and I took it like, okay, this is really where I'm at. And the way he would always get up and present was just, you know, if you're going to copy a style, copy somebody you really like, and you can kind of do something similar. Not as good maybe, but something similar. So later on, Tom Brennan becomes the editor of Fire Engineering. And by the way, Fire Engineering has been in my life. The first book I bought, and it was a long time, and I even asked my wife about it. I said, when did we actually buy this book? It was like, she said, I think I remember writing the check. The first book I bought was a Fire Chief's Handbook going back to the early 70s. Fire engineering has always been a big part of my life. I still read books. I have, you know, a library. I pull books out. I just pulled out Vincent Dunn's Collapse of Burning Buildings. It's one of the best books ever written. I gave it to my assistant chief. I go, you ever read this book? He goes, yeah, it was on our reading list. I go, read it again. Take a look at it. I look at this stuff all the time. I go back to the stuff all the time. And I've read them many times, but there's always something you pick up in there. So, you know, getting back to Tom Brennan. So he's retired. He's editor of Fire Engineering. He becomes chief up in Waterbury, of all places. I'm from Stanford. You know, I grew up in city of Stanford. I know about Waterbury. So I'm a captain now. I'm a captain in 28 truck, which is, that's the Hilton, you know, by the way, those who don't know it. And Ray knows exactly what I'm talking about. If you're on the FDNY, you know about 28 truck. I'm the captain of 28 truck, but I'm asked to do a seminar for the Connecticut Bagpipe Band. They're just starting a band. They want to make some cash, and they're asking me to do a presentation. Half a day, you know, it's free, free-o. And I'm going to do one part of it, and Tom Brennan's going to do the other part. And I said, well, you know, I'm going to do truck operations because, you know, that's kind of like what I do. And he's going to do truck operations because he's Tom Truck. So let's face it, everybody knows about Tom Brennan. I go, you know, I hope I go first. I hope they put me the morning session and he's the afternoon session. I hope I go first. I really want him to, first of all, you know, he's like my hero when it comes to this stuff. And I go like, man, I want him to see my presentation so I can get a critique on how I could do it better. And Tom Brennan was a big factor in my life. I just wanted Eileen to know that. And when I saw I was getting this, and I don't seek most of the things in my life. I didn't look for them. They look for me, and they find me. So happy that it was in his name Tom Brennan Lifetime Achievement Award. Let me get back to one other thing. I said I wasn't going to talk long, but I'll talk a little bit longer. I'm going to tell another story. And this is, you'll understand this, the people who've studied for promotion over the years. So I was a captain, and I'm studying for the BC's test, this BC's job. We have a test. It's a hard test, very hard test. And I did okay, but not great. There was 4 questions on Brannigan's book. Now, I read Brannigan's book because I like building construction. I went to, if you look at my bio, I went to trade school. I was always about construction. And that book was a good book. I loved that book. And I knew that stuff cold turkey. I knew it all. Or not know it all, but I knew it very well to answer questions. I get 4 questions wrong. One of the other captains goes, you know, I got the same questions wrong. I says, you know, there's something fishy here. Let's do a protest. So the New York City guys know how that works. You can do a protest. I says, you write the protest. He writes up the protest. It looks good to me. I says, you know, I could probably go to Frank Brannigan because I met him. I met him through teaching at the New York Firefighters Burn Center seminars. We used to have those on weekends. You did it for free. They have 5 instructors. And I used to go on the podium with Frank Brannigan. He was the top guy. So I contact him and I say, hey, listen, I think I got these right. He looks, I send him the protest. He goes, you got them right. I said, would you endorse my protest? So the guy who's writing the protest for me goes like, you can get Brannigan to endorse the protest? And I go, yeah, he said he would do it. So he endorses the protest. You know, I'm the middleman. I'm not doing any of this typing or anything else. There's other guys submitting it. So here, you endorsed it here. Take it over, you know, send it over to personnel. Send it over to, you know, Department of Personnel. He comes back, he says they denied it. I said, how can they deny he wrote the book. So this is New York City. I mean, like, so I call Frank Brannigan up. I used to call him chief, you know, professor. So I said, listen, they denied it. He goes, why? He says, they don't believe I got this. They think it's fake. You have to now go out and get it notarized and then send it back to him, registered mail. So I go, I said, will you do that? He goes, yeah, you know, there's like about 8 inches of snow out there, and I'm in my 80s. But yeah, I'm going to go out. He says, you know why? He says, New York City will never change. Nobody ever believes anybody. So he did it. We you know, and the story's not over yet. We did it, and we get the protest. I get on the list. I'm pretty good up on this BC's list. So, of course, some of the guys I work with know I don't take the promotion. I said I want to defer the promotion, but I'm going to turn the promotion down. I go to the commissioner at the time. He has a fit. The chief of department at the time has a fit. You are not turning down this promotion. You are going to take that. He says, okay, listen. The commissioner at the time says, listen, you go down and you talk to First Deputy Fire Commissioner Bill Feehan. And if he says it's okay, I'll go with it. I go, okay. It's worth a shot. I go and talk to Chief Feehan. He had been chief of department. He had every rank in the New York City Fire Department. Lost his life on the 11th, one of the great tragedies of many. So I go to him. I says, Commissioner, I think I'm going to turn down this promotion. He goes, why? I go. He says, you know, I really like being a captain. I really like going into fires. I really like doing that part of the job. And by the way, I feel I have at least, this is what's close the deal, by the way. I feel like I have 10 more miles of hallway to crawl down. And he went like this, and he goes like, okay. He signed it. I brought it over to the commissioner. He says, how did you do it? He had another fit. He says, okay. He says, you can defer it. And I did defer it, and knowing all these great people through teaching, Vincent Dunn, Tom Brennan, Frank Brannigan. I know a lot of the guys on that list, and I've seen a bunch of them just this morning. It brought so much into my life, made me a better fireman for sure, and a better officer. Be a good fireman, be a good officer. That's kind of the way it works. If you can do that, you know, you really hit a home run. And I see Commissioner Cassano sitting there, which I'm so happy to see him. And on my last day, so now I'm timing out. I mean, I rode the thing right to the end. This is my birthday at midnight. I'm timing out. So that last day tour, I had a great ending. I had a great second alarm down in Chinatown. My last run was a good fire with an explosion, partial collapse, people trapped. You know, we got some people out of the top floor of the fire. There's another person trapped on the second floor. We got him out. It was a great fire. I come back to the firehouse, and there's a whole crowd there. And among them was, you know, of course, I mean, I think the borough commander was riding with us, which probably should have done. But I see the commissioner there, and I go, Commissioner, what can we do? He says, listen, I had to retire too when I was 65. So, you know, you really love the job, and I really do. And I met so many great people. Fire engineering has brought so much into my life. And I really, it was a great ride, and I appreciate everything that's come to me.
Awesome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Please welcome the president of ISFSI, Brian Zaitz, and the technical editor of Fire Engineering, Glenn Corbett.
Good morning. I'm Brian Zaitz, the president of the International Society of Fire Service Instructors, and I'm here today to present the ISFSI Fire Engineering Instructor of the Year. Prior to announcing this year's Instructor of the Year, I'd like to have the past recipients of the George D. Post Instructor of the Year please stand to be recognized. And we have quite a few in the audience. Thank you very much. This year's recipient is no stranger to anyone in this audience. It's Deputy Chief Retired Frank Viscuso from the Kearney Fire Department. Chief Viscuso spent 26 years at the Kearney Fire Department, changing the fire department there through his leadership, his training, and his vision of what could be and what is. Everyone's probably sat in one of Frank's classes, read his articles, or one of his great books like Step Up and Lead. It is my great honor to present him this award this year. For more on Frank's career and a little bit about him, please turn to the monitors and watch the video.
One criteria of the George Post Award indicates the instructor has served as a positive role model for other fire instructors and firefighters throughout the country. Frank not only meets that criteria, but he crushes it as a role model, as a father, a coach, and a friend. Because at his core, he's a good person who cares about each and every one of us. Frank, my friend, congratulations. There's no one more deserving.
Hey, Anthony Avillo here. Just want to wish my brother from New Jersey with the vowel in the last name a heartfelt congratulations for Instructor of the Year. You deserve it, brother. You have made your mark, and I'm proud to say that you are a friend and a mentor. Congratulations. Love you, man.
What can I say about Frank Viscuso? First, I'd like to say I consider him a true friend. Secondly, he can take the most seemingly complex subjects like leadership and team building, simple enough for the newest firefighter, with enough information for the most senior fire officer.
I just want to say congratulations, buddy. You've earned this. There's no one I know that is more passionate and is out there changing the fire service for the better. So enjoy this, keep making a difference, and I love you.
Frank Viscuso, you beautiful man. I'm so happy for you. Congratulations on your award.
the George D. Post Instructor of the Year Award from Fire Engineering and the International Society of Fire Service Instructors. What can you say about Frank Viscuso, brother? You are a tremendous, tremendous human being. I love your passion, your wisdom, and you're a very incredibly prolific author. Every word you write, every book, every article, all the things you've given to us over the years are so overwhelmingly full of joy, wisdom, and passion. And it comes through in every one of your classes and every one of your books. And I'm really looking forward to Sprinkles 27. I'm sure that's on the horizon someday. So congratulations on that as well. And everything you've done, it's really meant so much to all of us. And most of all, thank you for being a friend and a true leader and mentor.
Frank, Bill Gustin here from Miami-Dade. I just want to compliment you on the great work you've been doing on writing these books. Ever since your books on management have been on our study list for promotional exams, these I'm talking about. Our people, our officers, have really learned how to step up and lead. Great job, Frank. God bless.
Frankie, my man, how cool is this? Congratulations, my friend. I agree with what all the rest of these guys are saying on these clips, and I just want you to know this is well deserved. You have led with your actions, you've led with your words, you've written in a way that is compelling and makes us want to change. You speak with an authenticity and a passion that, you know, just fires us up and makes us all feel like we can lead. And brother, I hope you enjoy this. I hope you know that there's great impact that's going to come for generations because of the things that you've done. And I stand with the rest of the folks in this audience in saluting you for a job really well done. God bless.
At this time, I'd like to ask Chief Viscuso to join us on the stage to receive his award.
I wish you played the video afterwards. Thank you, everybody. First and foremost, I want to thank God for placing me on this path. I did not set out to be a fire service instructor. I only wanted to make a difference in my own department. That was my goal. You know, and that's, Bill Gustin said that last year. That's where we all start teaching, on our own department. But I'm grateful that my journey brought me here to FDIC. I want to express a heartfelt thank you to the ISFSI Fire Engineering for this tremendous honor. Thank you, Brian and David and Diane and Glenn and Lee and all the board and all the committee members who have done so much to improve the fire service. They could be up here just as easily as me. I'm deeply grateful for all of you, as well as my mentors. And that list starts with my father, Sebastian, my brother, Joseph, both of whom have served as firefighters and provided me with guidance throughout my professional and my personal life. And my list of mentors, by the way, is so large. I couldn't stand up here and mention them all. You saw so many of them on that video, but here's the one thing I want to say. Because of FDIC, many of my mentors have become my best friends. For that, I'm truly grateful. And I said this yesterday to a couple of friends where you've always heard that term, hey, you don't want to meet your heroes, right, because they'll disappoint you. Well, here you do, because they don't disappoint you. You find out how real they are. I want to express a heartfelt thank you to my wife, Laura, and our boys, Thomas, Frankie, Nicholas, for their sacrifice, because I'm telling you, they provide me the strength to pursue my passion for teaching. And I couldn't do what I do without their love, their understanding, and as I mentioned, their sacrifice, because all of you that are out there doing this know the sacrifice our families pay too. I want to take just a moment here to speak to you, the instructors in this room. When you choose to be an instructor, you are also choosing to expose yourself, and you do it willingly. The main reason you do it is because you're passionate about improving the fire service. But the problem is, when you expose yourself, you're also, you're going to be criticized by some. And sometimes it's by people that are close to us that we thought were going to support us, sometimes even people in our own department. That's part of the process, by the way. Some critics are fueled by jealousy, insecurity, maybe an inflated ego, whatever the reason. Doesn't matter. I want you to remember this. It is not us, the instructors, against them, the critics. It's never been us against them. It's always been us against complacency. That's why we do what we do. Your dedication to improving the fire service inspires me. It keeps me going. If you've heard me speak before, one of the things you may have heard me say is, in a world full of problem finders, be a problem solver. This is a room of problem solvers. That's why I love coming here to FDIC. The future of our fire service looks very, very bright because of all of you. So thank you for what you do. Let's all continue working together and make sure every firefighter gets the highest quality of training possible, along with a much-needed shot of inspiration. Thank you, ISFSI, Fire Engineering, and all of you. I appreciate you, and God bless. Thank you.
All right. Christina Moon is a woman on a mission. From the moment I was introduced to her, it was very clear that she was focused, determined, and 100% committed to honoring the loss of her husband, FDNY firefighter Billy Moon. Christina has committed herself to a life of service and to carrying forward Bill's legacy, while at the same time setting the example in raising her two beautiful children, Brianne, who is 13, and Colin, who is 11. She was introduced and very politely said, "I need to get my message to as many firefighters as possible. Can you help me?" For the next half hour, Christina explained her mission to me. She established the Billy Moon Foundation, where she shares her and Billy's story while advocating and providing support, advocacy, and awareness for organ donation. Let's take a quick look at the video that illustrates that mission.
As an FDNY firefighter, he was a hero in life. As an organ donor, Billy Moon, also a hero in death.
FDNY firefighter Billy Moon's heart was successfully transplanted into 63-year-old Richard Grell last December.
And as his widow Christina processed her heartbreak and her grief, she fulfilled a promise that was made to her husband and donated his organs so others could live. 5 lives were saved in the process.
Our mission is providing that support, advocacy, and awareness for organ donation. Be a forever hero, donate life is the message we want to get out there.
There are around 103,000 people waiting for a transplant across the country.
One person can save 8 lives and improve up to 75 more.
Now, I'd already tentatively mapped out this year's opening ceremony, but I told her to give me a little time to see if we could make something happen. She checked in only once and remained patient. The stars finally aligned, and I extended the invitation to Christina to keynote today. And I'll have to say, she was way more excited than when I told Champo he had to keynote yesterday. Please welcome to this FDIC stage, Christina Moon.
So this is FDIC. I now know why Billy never invited me to come with them. Thank you so much and good morning. So yes, my name is Christina Moon. I am the president of the Billy Moon Foundation, but more importantly, I am Billy's widow and the mama of 2 children. And I'm really happy to be here today, and I want to start out by telling you a little bit about our family and our dynamic. And Billy and I, we always had those normal conversations. We would talk about retirement and everything else. My daughter's teenage years, she just turned 13. And all common conversations that you have and natural conversations you have within a marriage. But I'm also going to talk to you about some of the hard conversations we had as well. But let's talk a little bit about the dynamic of my household. So I spent 20 years in elementary education, and I would go on interviews. My last position was an assistant principal, so I'd go on interviews and I'd sit down, and the first question was always, tell me a little bit about yourself. Like, okay, yeah, so I'm married, I have 2 kids. 2 dogs. My husband's a New York City fireman, and he is my oldest child. And it's true. My kids will tell you that Dad was the oldest child. He was the one with the games and making fun of them and everything in between. But we knew each other for 9 years before we started dating, so we kind of always knew how to push each other's buttons and have a good time with it. So Billy was a 21-year veteran of the FDNY. He spent almost 20 years at Ladder 133 in South Jamaica, Queens, which is a pretty busy house. And then he transferred over to Rescue 2, which, as many of you know, is considered to be an elite unit within the FDNY. He was a former chief and active member of the Islip Volunteer Fire Department for 28 years. And he was a legendary member of the Islip Wolves drill team. And it's competitive firefighter racing. If you're not from the New York area and you want to see grown adults jump off the back of a truck moving 60+ miles an hour to run up a ladder or shoot a target with a hose, that is a sport for you to check out. I'll never get it. I'll never understand it. But a big thing, first let me explain, Billy died in the line of duty while preparing for a training exercise inside the quarters of Rescue 2. He fell approximately 20 feet on December 12th, 2022, and he would answer his last alarm on December 20th. But a big thing that people know about Billy is he donated his organs, and he saved the lives of 5 people doing that. 2 of them are retired members of the FDNY, one of them suffering from 9/11 related lung disease. And these are just some articles back when everything happened. And this is just Billy being a buff as a kid. I'm pretty sure he's gonna come haunt me for sharing these all over the country one day, but you know, I still gotta get at him even though he's not here. And both of my kids gave eulogies at Billy's funeral. My daughter stood next to me while I read hers to a church of 400 people live streaming. And my son, my daughter was 10 at the time, my son was 8, and my son got up. And he stood there and he said to everyone, you know, my dad really loved being a fireman, but his favorite job in the world was being a dad. And he was right. Billy coached his hockey team. He helped my daughter with soccer. He called the viola the violin just to annoy my daughter. But his schedule always magically opened up whenever something was going on. And grief. Grief is why I'm here. Grief is what brought me to the stage. And people come up to me and they'll look at me and they'll ask me and they'll say, how are you? And I look at them and I say, and I hope I always say this, I'm still standing. And part of it is because I am still standing and I have 2 kids at home and we're on this journey together. Another part of it is you don't want to get into the dirty details of what's going on, because I'll be honest, we have good days, bad days, and really shitty days. And you can't figure out when those are going to come. I've also taught my kids, you don't judge another person sad, because just because someone doesn't look like they're grieving, it doesn't mean that they're not grieving. Everybody is different. We're always grieving. So as you saw in the video, our mission is providing that support, advocacy, and awareness for organ donation. And we tell people we want them to be a forever hero and donate life. Because Billy's not just our hero now, he's a hero to others as well. And this is how we help, right? I'm the first layer of this. There's a team of us that are here. You know, we share our story and we're advocating for the importance of organ donation. And we're also giving money to donor and recipient families. We're partnering with different departments and communities and healthcare organizations because the message needs to be out there. People need to understand how important this is and what it can do. I have spoken to over 10,000 people since January of 2023 in person. I've been to 5 classes at the FDNY. I have another one coming up. I've been to a police academy. This is my 8th state. And we have reached hundreds of thousands of people with this message across the country thanks to social media and partnerships with people like the IAFF and other organizations that are listening to us and seeing what we're doing. And we've given thousands of dollars to organ donor families and organ recipient families because somebody shouldn't be paying $100 a day to park in New York City, or somebody else needed to fly her sons in when she had surgery so they can help take care of her. One man flew from California to say goodbye to his best friend, and he shouldn't be sleeping on a hospital couch. He should be sleeping in a hotel bed. And we all know, anyone from New York, if you want any hotel that you want to stay in is not a cheap hotel. And we're also going to be talking about nationwide donor days. Billy's number was 88. He wore it for all of his sports. My kids wear it. It's become our family number. And on 8/8 last year, we launched partnerships with 2 transplant centers. And now on 8/8 this year, we're going to be talking about having donor days. So the FDNY is one of the largest contributors to the bone marrow bank in the country. And here's why. Every class they swab for bone marrow, they have a blood drive, and they sign up to be an organ donor. Every Proby class. And then if you go to headquarters, they have a list of the few hundred firefighters who have donated bone marrow over the years. It's a simple model that we can bring to any organization, to any firehouse, opening up your bay doors, a community center. So if you're interested in helping us do that, you can go to our website and we'll talk about what we can do together for this year. And that is a Valentine's Day card and that is Billy's signature with the number 88, because that smartass would sign every card with his full name and number 88. Here's my two kids. It's Brianne and Colin's pictures back in the fall. And I like to share this story about Colin with people. We went to the Outer Banks a while back. Colin was about 5, and there was a brand new water park, and we get to this water park, and he looks up and he goes, wow, I really wish I could say what's in my head right now. And Billy, knowing what mini Billy would say, looks at him and goes, go ahead, buddy. What do you want to say? Colin goes, oh, I looked at that water slide and I thought, holy shit. And this is my holy shit moments. This is my journey that I did not think would happen, but I appreciate that you share them with me. And I do tell Brianne she will not go unscathed from stories being shared about her. Right now, I just tell people having a now 13-year-old is very bougie. She could be my skincare consultant, but I told her her stories are coming. She just doesn't know it yet. Let's talk about reality. Reality, once upon a time, was, it's real versus fake, right? That's what a child learns. That's what we see it as, a black and white, real versus fake. And then you have reality television. Brianne watches Dance Moms, and we all know it's not really real. And then a reality of a situation, a reality of a change in circumstance. And we are your reality of a situation and change in circumstance. And usually, at this point in my presentation, I like to talk about the impact of organ donation. But today, I get to show you the impact of organ donation. So I would like to introduce Billy's lung recipient, retired Lieutenant Terry Jordan, Billy's liver recipient, retired Captain Patrick Reynolds, and Billy's heart recipient, Richard Grell. Did I not tell you were going to end up with a standing ovation? I recently said these three men tell us all the time how grateful they are for Billy's gifts, but I am so grateful for them. They came here to support us, and you can't ask, I'm so grateful. And I want to tell you a little bit about them. They've taught me so much. Terry here taught me that they can resize your lungs to fit another person's body. Pat I learned about so many people who reached out to Pat to try to be a living donor to help him out. And unfortunately, he didn't have a match, but Billy was a perfect match. And Rich, well, I met Rich about 9 months after everything happened, 11 months, somewhere around there. And we're in this room with cameras and press and all these people, and I'm there with my kids and Billy's family, and I didn't know at the time, but it makes perfect sense now that I know this. In order to receive somebody's heart, they have to be of a similar stature to you, which makes perfect sense now that you know it, but I didn't know that. So all of a sudden, I'm standing in this room and out walks Rich. Rich is 6'3" and Billy was 6'4". And you want to talk about profound moments in life? There's no words to describe the feeling of seeing someone the same size as your husband walk out with his still beating heart. And when we got to listen to that heartbeat, we got to take a recording of it. And we went to Build-A-Bear, and we put that recording in our bears. So the kids and I each have bears with Billy's heartbeat. It's amazing. Brianne's would go off every now and again, and she swore it was Billy messing with her. And then the second Terry got clearance, he was outside walking every day, preparing for the Tunnel to Towers 5K. 9 months after receiving a new set of lungs, Terry and I, with his family, walked the Tunnel to Towers 5K in the pouring rain and freezing cold. It was so cold. But we had fun. We had fun. And then when I talk about Pat, I kind of just say, where in the world is Pat Reynolds? Because if you need a travel agent, Pat and Bridget are the ones to go to. Living your best life all over the world. It's wonderful. Just knowing that they have this lease on life because of what happened. I want to thank you so much for being here, all of you. Thank you.
Thank you.
You got it. I'm going to let them escape now. That way. I wouldn't make them stand up here the whole time. They're awesome, though. If you want to get to know them, come visit us. So hard conversations. What is a hard conversation? It's turning around and letting somebody know your wishes for when you die. And I get it. Nobody wants to talk about what happens when you die. But Billy and I did. And I'm proud that we did. Even though it's scary, when you're in this world, especially the first responder world, you tuck away in your head and your heart that there are a lot of what ifs. So having that hard conversation helps the person receiving it, helps those loved ones that are in your life. So let's talk about what happens when you have that hard conversation, right? You save lives. I'm in a room of firefighters. You save lives every day. You're running into the burning building while I'm running the hell away from it. And when you have that conversation and you save lives, one person can save 8 lives and up to 75 more with tissue donation. There's over 103,000 people currently waiting for an organ in this country. 17 people die a day waiting. And when I talk about that, I go to the academy class. I get to go to the academy class, and I look in the room. There's usually like 300-ish people in the room. And I tell them to look around. And I always laugh because they're taught not to look around. No one wants to get in trouble. And I make them look around because in 17 days, that entire room could be gone waiting for an organ. And every 10 minutes, another person is added to the list. And your location matters. Grey's Anatomy lied to me. There's no magic medevac that's going to throw all of these organs on dry ice and sprinkle them across the country. Where you live matters. And only 3 in 1,000 people will even die in a way that they could donate their organs. It's simple math. The more people registered, the more people that are helped. This is Kings County Hospital in Brooklyn. It's a level 1 trauma center, and I am eternally grateful for Billy's colleagues and the EMS that was nearby to get him so quickly to the hospital. And he was there for about a week, and it was a couple days in, and there was this I call it the little yellow room with the old broken chairs, and I was getting the update from medical staff, and all of a sudden, I just blurted out, I'm like, he's an organ donor. And they're like, oh, well, we're not there yet. We don't need to know that. I said, yeah, but there's just something, I feel like you need to know this information. And they're like, okay, but let me share this. They did not stop helping Billy because I said he's an organ donor. People ask me, press has asked me, like, oh, do you think they stopped helping him? It's like they were looking for every minute. Every minute. He had multiple procedures, surgeries, and intensive interventions while he was there. I said, only my husband would have 2 brain surgeries in 12 hours because he liked a good top 5 story for the kitchen table. So like I said before, Billy spent 28 years in the volunteer fire service. Being a volunteer or a career firefighter is an innately selfless thing to do. I know what it's like to get up in the middle of a birthday party or to miss a concert or something because you have to work. I know what it's like to put other people's families ahead of yours sometimes because you're helping save their lives. It's selfless. And I'm asking that you think about that and continue that selflessness even in your death and have those conversations. Continue to be there. You know, if Billy had an umbilical cord attached to islip, I tell people, and I would have lived anywhere. But I'm so glad he did because between our home community of islip and the FDNY community, we're so supported. And I know that's what you all do for each other on a daily basis. Billy was transferred from Kings County Hospital to NYU for his organ procurement. It was a dignified transfer, and anyone that's ever been to the New York area, getting from Brooklyn to Manhattan is an adventure. Like, it's hard. There's cars, there's people everywhere. And Billy was in the ambulance in front of me, and I could see him through the windows, and he had some of his closest friends riding right next to him. And I'm in the van, and I don't know, the feeling of calm and peace that just came over me. Now, I want you to remember it's Christmas time. And my Christmas is about to look really, really different. And for some reason, I just had this feeling that everything was going to be okay, because 5 people are about to receive a Christmas miracle because Billy checked a box and knew to tell me about it. And he would do that to people at the kitchen table. He would make sure people knew. These are some facts from around the world. And I want you to look at the ones with the asterisks. Those countries have opt-out policies. You have to say, no, I don't want to be an organ donor. And I just think it's something for us to think about in the future in our own country. And these are waiting times. Kidneys are hard. I bet you there's many people in this room have been affected or know someone that's been affected in need of a kidney or an organ. It's not easy. So let's go back to talking about hard conversations. You know, once upon a time, I tell people a hard conversation was telling my parents I failed a test. This is a hard conversation. Coming here, talking to you, traveling, but they're important conversations because we're realizing everyone thinks this is an important topic, but nobody's talking enough about it. A hard conversation is sitting in that little yellow room with the old broken chairs to tell my kids that Dad's not coming home. But over 80% of families, if put in that position, will say yes. My point is, don't put them in that position to have to decide. People call me and they thank me and they hear our story and like, I'm going to donate my loved one's organs, and sometimes they do. And then other times, another family member comes in and says, well, no, we don't know if that's really what they wanted, so we're not going to do it. And they like pull a rank and becomes conflict. Don't put conflict on your family during a tragedy. And if you don't want to have the conversation with your loved one, with your wife, with your significant other, have it with your 24 partner. Have a conversation with someone across the kitchen table. Let people know. These are conversations we need to normalize. And there's a man by the name of Richard Buckminster Fuller, and he said, you never change things by fighting the existing reality. To change something, build a new model that makes the existing model obsolete. And that's what we need to do, and I think we're starting with our first responders. You have community outreach in your departments, fire prevention. Think about the ways you already connect to your communities. We can do this and set a tone in your community that you want everyone to live on, even in their death. Again, normalize the conversation. And remember, location matters. So let's get back to reality, right? The world or state of things as they actually exist, as opposed to an idealistic or notional idea of them. My reality is right here and right now, and my reality is devastating, and I hope you and your loved ones never have to walk in my shoes. But it is what we're doing, and it is the journey that we're taking. And our family, I'll tell you, it's never going to be the same. There's always going to be someone or something missing. But the best we can do is honor Billy's legacy through things like this. My call to action is to build partnerships with your community, get the message out there, have hard conversations, and if you want to partner with us and talk more, contact us. We can help. These are some goals from the foundation. We hit all of our 2024 goals. We're already hitting our 2025 goals. Our goal is to help 50 families this year. And if you spend a few minutes talking to me, I hope we beat it, because that's the kind of person I am, and we've got a great team working on it together. We have more ideas for 2026, like a hospital room so people have a place to go. And these are some of our partners. If you look on your sixes there in the middle, and they're a great bourbon brand that we have partnered with. And if you come visit us at our booth in Lucas Oil Stadium and show us you're an organ donor, we'll enter you in a raffle to win some bourbon. They'll ship you some bourbon. I mean, like, I'm talking to a bunch of firefighters. I know you'll win bourbon. Free bourbon shipped to your house. You don't even have to worry about getting it in a suitcase. So just have a quick video to show you.
New tonight, as an FDNY firefighter, he was a hero in life. As an organ donor, Billy Moon, also a hero in death. Now, nearly a year after his final act of saving 5 lives, his family got to hear the beat of his heart once again. News 4's Ida Siegel has the story.
Richard Grell and the Moon family are not related, but they share the heart of another and are now connected for life. Christina Moon is listening to the heartbeat of her late husband, firefighter Billy Moon, killed during an FDNY training accident a year ago. Billy was an organ donor. The entire family moved to tears today to hear him once again.
To hear his heartbeat again, it brings back so much. It's a flood of emotions, and it just makes you feel like he's still here.
When Billy died, Richard was 62 years old and had suffered 3 heart attacks. He was told the only way forward was a transplant. Richard and the Moon family met for the first time today.
I said to Christine, thank you for my life. Thank you for letting me be able to continue my life.
Christina is especially grateful her 2 children, 9 and 11 years old, know a piece of their father will always be with them.
I would take naps right next to my dad, and it feels like I was right next to him because when I was doing it, I could hear his heartbeat. Yep.
So when I first heard the heartbeat, it was too peaceful to be him. But then it got a little faster, and then I knew it was him.
Now they have special plans to listen to his heartbeat whenever they want.
We're going to take that heartbeat, and we're going to go to Build-A-Bear, and we're going to create a bear. Except we're going to put the sound of the heartbeat inside of the bear.
Cool.
In the end, Billy Moon saved a total of 5 people through organ donation, including 2 former firefighters who got his lungs and his liver. Reporting from Long Island City, Ida Siegel, News 4, New York.
I told
so special.
I told my kids recently that I want to be them when I grow up. They're just so strong and resilient. They're really just amazing. They drive me nuts, don't get me wrong, but they really are so awesome. So we are going to be at booth 8334 in Lucas Oil Stadium, and I hope you come visit us. We have some of Billy's coworkers are here that are on our board. People from Ladder 133, Billy's captain from Rescue 2 is here. But really important, right now I'd like you to take out your phone, and I want you to scan this QR code. And while you do that, I'll tell you why. That's our website. And after this is all done, you're going to find us on Instagram or Facebook, and you're going to follow us. That's the one thing you have to do. But there's almost 2,000 people around here. If every person here donated $10, that's potentially another 20 families that we can help this year. That's how we're going to keep going. We have challenge coins with us for sale. We have merchandise that you can look at, that you can scan to purchase at our booth. So I got some freebies for you, don't worry. Come get some of those. I was told I can't come and have a booth without freebies. But I really appreciate you having me here. Thank you so much for letting me be on this stage. David, I can't thank you enough. I hope everyone has a really great day.
So you tough guys, that's what strength looks like right there. That's what strength looks like. All right, another great day. We're going to give away another conference pass, compliments of the Firefighter Air Coalition. And thanks to Mike Galliano and the crew. This one goes to Brian Ames. Brian Ames, congratulations. You can pick this up right after we close out the Thursday show here. I want to recognize all our Pay It Forward recipients. We gave away 16 conference passes this year in that program. Thank them for all being here. Don't forget, we've got the National Fallen Firefighter Boot Scootin' Boogie at the Indiana Ballroom tonight. Visit Fire Engineering's book booth and meet the authors. The line was longer than the booth was yesterday, so make sure you get over there. I also have the Bobby Halton 5K Firefighter Cancer Support Network run. The Bill Guston Celebration of Life begins right after the education sessions today in the 500 Ballroom. And Lucas Oil Experience opens up today. Firefighter Health and Wellness area from Firefighter Nation, the gym's clinical competition, the drill yard training session, the stair climb on Friday, and a little bit of news for you for 2026. Look for more hot classes during the week. And this is the last Thursday opening that we will be doing. We were going to go back to a longer opening on Wednesday, but what that's going to do for us is allow us to add about 30 additional classroom sessions for our attendees to take. Special thanks to the entire FDIC team and those in the back of the room and backstage that made it all come together. I'd like to take a moment to recognize the students and chaperones from the Gatlinburg Pittman High School in Tennessee. I met some of them yesterday. We talked about service. You guys saw it when every single message, and that is the future. We have an entire group, 17 high school kids in fire and EMS program that are here with chaperones. And if you run into them, I don't know, high school kids look younger and younger each day, but they got on the blue shirts and they'll be around all day. Christina, outstanding job. You guys have to, on behalf of all of her team over here, you guys stand up. Look at that. Make sure you go check out that booth, and you guys have a great rest of your FDIC. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.